continue on from the Lackawanna Beatdown. I'm Russ from the Closed Fist, and with me here, NCW's Bruce Davis. Bruce, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
How long have you been on the independent scene?
I started training in 2007, so roughly about 10 years.
Roughly about 10 years. How has it changed from when you first started to now?
Well, it depends on what you mean by change. There's a lot of different ways it's changed, and a lot of ways it stayed the same.
Opportunities.
In Western New York, it has gone down. A lot of the smaller independents have gone away. It's a lot of the things as far as change go with New York State Athletic Commission getting involved in it. They've actually limited the amount of promotions can do and what they're allowed to do and what they have to pay for.
Okay.
So, like, just this last year, they added requiring having ambulances at every event. So that takes money out of the promoter's pocket, which means that he has to either make that money up somehow or he has to run less shows and build up for bigger shows, which is what we actually do for NCW. We actually have run less shows in order to make sure we have enough time to build up to run those shows and run good shows.
Wow. So if anything, less money coming in, or less money being made?
Less money coming in. Well, actually, I wouldn't say less money coming in because it's about the same money coming in, but he has more expense.
More expenses, right? All right. Social media, in general, with the independent scene, what kind of an effect has that had?
It's changed the way people see wrestling. A lot of people, they call themselves like super marks or whatever.
Right.
So you get to, in the day of wrestling, as they call it, you didn't have social media. So a wrestler, a big name wrestler, like let's say Roddy Piper or Arn Anderson or the Freebirds or the Killer Bees, whoever it be.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, back in the day.
You just mentioned the Killer Bees.
Back in the day.
Killer Bees. B. Brian Blair, Jumpin' Jim Brunzell.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, back in the day. The Wild Samoans back in the day, You're talking back in the 80s, 70s,
yep.
All that time period.
Yep.
They could run they could actually run shows in what they call one geographical area, down in Georgia, down in North Carolina. Then they come up to New York, and you didn't know what they did down there because the social media wasn't there.
Right.
So now you can get on your computer and go on websites like ProWrestling.com or a bunch of others.
Wrestling Observer, Dave Meltzer. He's like the godfather of pro wrestling.
Of all pro wrestling, actually, because it's like he does not only indies, but he also does the big guys.
He does, yeah.
So he does pretty much everything. So you get, in that aspect, you can find out what happened in North Carolina at like an AWA show or an
right.
So those guys that run down there, you can see who works and how they work. You got YouTube that comes out that you can see matches from anywhere.
right.
So you can go on YouTube. Boom, boom. I'm actually from San Diego.
Really? Okay.
My billing is 185 out of San Diego. I am legit 185 out of San Diego. I play no punches. I am what I am.
So you're not really from like Blaisdell?
No. I live. I can show you my driver's license.
No, yeah.
San Diego, California. That's where I live. Honest to God.
Oh my God. What was your inspiration? I mean, which wrestlers did you follow in particular growing up?
I would have to say, and this is way back, like I'm talking 1970s when I first got introduced to wrestling. My mother was actually was in an organization called PWP, Parents Without Partners.
Okay, all right, yeah, I remember that.
They actually, because I'm originally from Buffalo,
right.
They had a chapter here in Buffalo, and the what they call, I guess, what the chapter here in Buffalo sponsored a wrestling show.
Okay.
They had wrestlers come in, Captain Lou Albano, the Wild Samoans.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
They came in. They did. There was probably about, I'd say, 6 or 7 matches that show, and that's where I got my kick. And I was like,
This is cool.
Yeah, I love watching this. Where can you see a bunch of guys beating the hell out of each other
and get away with it?
And get away with it, and it looks like fun. So then I went down to the old Odd.
Okay, yeah.
Watched a couple of wrestling events down there. I actually watched WrestleMania 1. I think it was WrestleMania 1 when they had the big projector screen.
The closed circuit. Yeah.
It was awesome. Seeing that, I was there for that. I was like, wow.
You know, you get hooked.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, the guys that, I mean, I'm a small guy, so I can't really say, you know, I'd love, if I was a 6 foot plus guy, you know, the day of the immortal Hulk Hogan and, you know, like Macho Man in his day, those guys.
Bruce the Barber Beefcake and all them guys. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then, you know, you get into the smaller guys that are like even Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is not a big guy.
No, he's not. No.
So those are the guys that, you know, I looked at. Bret Hart.
Oh yeah.
Bret Hart is not a big guy, but they were given. And, you know, you hear the stories of Vince having his thing about wanting all these big guys to be on top, which you can see, yeah, he loves the big guys because they look like monsters, and that's his thing. But you get into the, well, if he only loved monsters, why did he put the world title on
Bret Hart
or Shawn Michaels?
Yeah, exactly.
Why did he let him run with it? Why? Because they can make him money.
Right.
And you're gonna do what's best for business.
Right.
So, and that's what it is. This is legitimately a business. If you're not going to do it just to have fun. Yes, it is fun, and yes, that's going to be part of it, but it can't be your driving force. Your driving force has to be sustainment and growth.
Sure.
So,
yeah. Now, about a week or so ago, there was an incident that happened on the independent scene. Sexy Star and Rosemary. Can I have your thoughts on it?
I did read some things. I didn't, and I saw the match. I actually saw the part of the match that it talked about. My thing is, yes, there is what they call heat. People in what if for people that don't quite understand heat is actually when you have a legitimate grievance with another person in wrestling, and as wrestlers, we are taught and trained and driven to protect each other in the ring at all costs. Because if we don't, there's been wrestlers around that have been paralyzed and have actually died in the ring because of things going wrong. And it may not even have been a true fight that caused it. It just an inappropriate move.
Yeah.
Now, when you take liberties with another person's body, now you're not only causing problems for that person, but you're also causing problems for the promotion, because they're not going to want it. Other wrestlers are not going to want to go work for them if they can't keep their other wrestlers controlled, or where they're going to let them go off and do whatever they want.
Sure, or they don't want to work with Sexy Star anymore at this point.
That's a given. That's a given. No, I don't know of any female wrestler out there that is going to, at least for the near future, feel safe with her in the ring, because truly the incident wasn't even the grievance wasn't even between Sexy Star and Rosemary.
Right.
It was with the other female in the ring, and Sexy Star took liberties with Rosemary because she had her at that point in time. And you can't do that. You can't do that with another person. And there's a time and a place to take your grievance and work it out between you two. It's not out there in front of the fans. It's behind the scenes. It's in the back. It's outside the building.
It's in the parking lot.
It's away from where people can see. That's when you do your thing and you solve, however you want to solve it, you solve your problem.
Well, Bruce, thank you very much for coming on.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Anytime you're in town and I'm at a show.
I might be at a show. I'm just saying.